Want to keep up with the latest LEGO Mega 96.1 videos? Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. Hello everyone, LEGO Mega 96.1 here with another video. And happy Star Wars Day! Ah yes, Star Wars, one of my favorite franchises out there. It is right up there next to Disney, Marvel, and DC Comics. Ever since I was a kid, I was introduced to Star Wars at a very young age, and to this day, I still watch it. Whenever new Star Wars content comes out, whether it's a game or a show or a book or a comic, I would read it hands down. But yet, with all the success Star Wars has, though many ups and downs along the way, there's also a few things that Star Wars has, and that's a fan base. And within the fan base, they also make fan films. Now, fan films in particular has really got the community going. It could be any kind of fan films. It could be live action, it could be 3D animated, and CG animated, or even Lego or action figure animated. And I actually have a list of my personal favorite Star Wars fan films that I want to talk about today. So, here it is, my top 6 Star Wars fan films. Why top 6? Because like the Nostalgia Critic, I like to go one step beyond. Oh yes, a little heads up for this list. It may contain spoilers and give my personal opinions on it. So if you don't want to be spoiled by whatever I have to say, I suggest you click away right now so you won't be spoiled. With that said, let's get right to the video. Number 6. The Elite, a Star Wars short film by Lucasfilms. Now, if you know me and you know my channel, I love clones. I mean, who doesn't? They're one of my favorite troopers that are out there. I mean, there are all sorts of clone troopers. We got the Scout Troopers. We got the ARC Troopers. We got the Scuba Troopers. We got the Standard Regs. And above all, Commandos. Commandos, by far, they have the best armor and the best markings ever in all of Star Wars. Now, I was browsing around the internet one day and I was looking up some Star Wars fan films, and primarily Clone Trooper fan films, because without a doubt, Clone Troopers are the best. Now, a few years ago, I came across a film called The Elite. And this short film in particular talks about Fire Team Bavine, a squad of commandos who saved their brothers from being wiped out by separatist forces on an unknown planet. And I gotta tell you, the markings on Fire Team Bavine, they look sick. I mean, above all, the armor and their fighting style, total badassery right there. And also, I give credit to the guy who made the film, and the actor who played these clones. They're the best. Now, a little heads up, I did a Lego Star Wars fan film about Jaina, the female clone trooper of the 501st. And when I did the clone trooper voice, I did it in the style of D. Bradley Baker, because that guy voiced all the clones in Battlefront 2, the Clone Wars movie, the Clone Wars TV series, the Bad Batch, and even Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire, which I've seen. And I will do a review on that sometime later. So keep an eye on that. And another thing, I even auditioned for one of Star Wars Theory's fan films called, or fan series, my mistake, of Vader, which I will go over that later in the video, so keep an eye on that. But overall, The Elite is actually a really good short film, and I highly recommend you watch it. And subscribe to Lucasfilms, who made that video. I mean, That guy, above all, he made the best Star Wars commando film that is out there. The Elite. It just goes to show that clone troopers can still kick ass wherever they go. Number 5. Shadows of the Republic, a Star Wars fan film. Yet another Commando fan film. Shadows of the Republic tells another Commando squad who is attempt to rescue a senator who is being held hostage by separatist forces that are disguised as clone troopers. Now, whether or not we saw this or not is still up in the air. Now, this fan film in particular was done by Cinematic Captures, and I saw the entire thing from beginning to end, and it looked phenomenal. And of course, the Commando Squad, they look awesome. I mean, they're right up there next to the Bad Batch, Delta Squad, Omega Squad, and even Fireteam Bavine. The name of the clones, they are spectacular. And the voice actor who played these clones, he is spectacular. I mean, the way they used that lift and they started going in, they started blasting some of these clones that are disguised. It is spectacular. I mean, just wow. And I love how that one commando droid just like run in and started decking that one trooper. He's kind of like a football player, just like that is awesome. But when they do manage a senator, in which this did caught me by surprise, they just shot the guy. It went from extraction to execution right on the spot. And what really surprised me is that these guys were contacted by Sidious, or they were talking to Sidious about the mission. Which leads me to wonder what did happen to them anyway. Did they execute Order 66? Did they serve the Empire? Or were they killed in action in other battles? These are questions that I need answers to. I mean, but overall, it is a really good short film, and I highly recommend you check it out. Shadows of the Republic. Even though war is still going on, there's still shadows lurking wherever they are. Number 4. Tuck Tales, The Rescue, a Clone Wars fan film. I know the film's not out yet, but I couldn't help talking about it. So just bear with me on this one. I was browsing around the internet one day, as again, I love Clone Trooper fan films. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, Clone Troopers are what made the clones what they are. The different markings, their hairstyles, the way they are, their personalities. I love clones through and through. I mean, I love the good ones. The bad ones, they're off the list. So I was browsing around the internet one day and I came across an animation called Clones, a Clone Wars fan film compilation. It was done by High Ground Animations. And this YouTuber in particular, he did this fan film in the style of the Clone Wars animation. Now, I watched the entire thing from beginning to end, and it looks spectacular. I mean, I swear, this guy could have worked for Lucasfilm or even worked under Dave Filoni. I mean, the artwork, the modeling, the 3D models of these clones, they are spectacular. But when more and more stuff relating to these clones come out, we saw firsthand of what this unit was. This unit was under the command of Captain Tuck, who I gotta say, his armor is spectacular. Especially the feather on his armor, or the one blaster pistol he had, and the pouch on his left. He looks awesome. And not only that, but the clone unit that he has under his command, in which, spoilers ahead, they are the 241st Battalion. And I gotta say, I love that unit. even though we don't know much about this unit, these guys look badass to the core. I mean, we got Roy, who's got this like heavy revolving, blaster gun. Kind of reminds me of heavy weapons guys, machine gun Sacha from Team Fortress 2, though it looks different. But overall, it's still cool. I mean, I follow this guy on YouTube, and I also follow him on Twitter and Instagram, and I highly recommend you check this guy out because he's made some of the best material that's out there. And little heads up, I made a fan and fiction of my character that I made for the Star Wars fandom, and I actually put the 241st Battalion in my story. And don't worry, I made sure I credited the guy. I mean, High Grounds Animation, he made a lot of really good content and of the 241st Battalion. And I can't wait to see that fan film when it comes out because I love clones and I can't wait to see what more clones we will see down the line. Tuck Tails. Just goes to show, well, that clones can still fight, and no matter what planet they go on. Number 3, Shadow Strike from First Setup Studios. Now, if you know me and you know my channel, I love Lego. I mean, who doesn't? It is one of my favorite toy brands that's out there. And when Star Wars decided to and when Star Wars and Lego decided to work together to make sets on these iconic figures, I couldn't resist. Now, a little heads up, as I stated earlier, I made a Lego fan film on Jaina, which is a female clone trooper, which I will put a link in the description below so that way you can see it for yourself. Now, I was browsing around YouTube the other day looking up Star Wars fan films while I was jotting down ideas to make my own Star Wars fan and videos. Now, I came across Shadow Strike, and I really love the story of how Shadow Strike came to be. I really love how this one Jedi named Czar, who's in battle leading his own squad named Hope Squadron, by the way, against Separatist forces. And we also learn that his brother actually survived and is now under the influence of the dark side and working with Separatist forces. Now, overall, the series itself is really good, and I really love the action and animation, the different planets that Czar's been on the different battles he was in, and I also love the design of the clones he has under his command. And speaking of the design, I love how Czar turned up in part one of episode 4, when he's in battle. That is spectacular, and the lightsaber he has, French kiss. It is that good. Now, I made some custom minifigures along the way, and yeah, even though they're not the best in the block, it still can't compare to some of the guys who made some actual custom clone troopers, which I would love to have, by the way. But overall, well, this guy has not only made Shadow Strike, but he also made some other Star Wars related content. He's made The Wrath of General Grievous, the son of Dathomir stop motion, and above all, he has continued to work on some of the stuff leading up to the series finale of Shadow Strike. Now, if you haven't seen Shadow Strike, I highly suggest you check it out and check out Vercello's Studios channel. He's made a lot of good content, and I highly recommend subscribing to this guy and show this guy your love because he has made a lot of really good content. And I can't wait to see the part 2 of Shadow Strike. Number 2, Kylo Ren versus Darth Vader, Force of Darkness, a Star Wars fan film owned by Seize the Frame. With the sequel series out, or with the sequel trilogy out, my goof, I couldn't help but wonder how could fan films be even more better? Well, why not have Kylo Ren on Starkiller Base fighting the ghost of Darth Vader, his grandfather? Now, I saw the entire film from beginning to end, and it looks insane. I mean, the way Kylo Ren was fighting Vader, it is spectacular. And Vader himself, holy crap, just outright trash Ben. Because let me remind you that Ben just been knighted as Kylo Ren, and he's still